That's good. All right, that's what we want. So, Marco, good morning. How are you doing today?
Very good.
All right, where are we and what's our date? What's going on?
Well, we're on the corner 7th Avenue and 51st Street. The old Limoncello space at the Michelangelo Hotel.
Cool.
And Paul Greco and I, my partner Paul and I, are going to open a restaurant in here that's slated to open middle of April.
Cool. And what's it going to be called?
It's going to be called Insieme.
And what does that mean?
Insieme is an Italian word that means together. It's from the Latin ensemble, and it really ties into the concept of the restaurant.
And so tell me a little bit about the concept, like old and new world. And
well, we like to call it traditional and contemporary worlds. You know, here we are in 2007, and there's been so much advancement in cooking techniques, and chefs, you know, are really entering, you know, the last 10 years with the Ferran Andrea and all that stuff that's been going on, and the culinary world has really kind of been flipped around a little bit. And we wanted to do a restaurant that would represent both modern times and not turn its back on tradition. Usually, you know, I'll take a traditional dish and then I'll modernize it and it'll become one thing, and I thought it would be really cool to really separate them out so that I could really do traditional food that's been being cooked in Italy for hundreds and hundreds of years, and this idea of like food with a history is something that really fascinates me.
So tell me a little bit about, like, what's it going to look like? We walk in the room, you open a menu, and, you know, it's time for dinner. How am I going to...
Well, I'm really, it's going to be two menus. It's going to be a traditional menu and a contemporary menu. The traditional menu will be laid out traditionally as in Italy with antipasti, primi, secondi, and contorni. Because the secondis are very simple. The secondis are very simple pieces of protein, and then you order a side dish that you'd like to eat with it. And then the other side of the menu will be a modern style menu, appetizers, middle courses, and entrees. And then we'll have a tasting menu down the center of the spine, 2 courses from the old world or the traditional world, and 2 courses from the contemporary world.
What's the dish that you're most excited about being able to do that you like couldn't do before, you know, at heart, let's say, something kind of that you remember from your childhood? Say?
Well, I feel like I could really, since I have each side to balance each other out, it kind of makes me feel like I could really simplify it even to a very pure level. So you know, I'm going to do a rista di maiale, which is roasted pork with beans, and I'm going to do it, and that's going to be it, because they've been doing it for 300 years or however many years, and it's a classic, wonderful dish, and I could put it there and not feel like, oh, is that complicated enough, or oh, are people going to, you know, maybe not be drawn to it. So that's why I'm really into this concept, because it really allows me to go to each side kind of unapologetically.
Awesome. And before we wrap up, just a little bit about the old-fashioned Italian cookbook that was an inspiration for Italian chefs. What was the name of that book?
It was Pellegrino Artusi, and I think it was in the 1600s, but it was one of the first cookbooks ever published in Italy, and he was a real Renaissance man. He wasn't really a chef. He was an entertainer, and everything about that book, the style in which he writes it, the food that he talks about, the simplicity of that food, it's been a source of a lot of inspiration for me, and it's great, simple Italian food.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much, Marco.
You're welcome.